Hello friends! The line of gasoline units is represented by 16-valve engines with a working volume of 1.5 liters and 90 horsepower, QG15DE, and 1.8 liters with 114 horsepower, QG18DE. After modernization in 2002, the engines received the NVCS, Nissan Valve Timing Control System, Variable Valve Timing System, and their power increased to 98 horsepower and 116 horsepower respectively. The main problem of both engines is the growth of oil waste, up to 1 liter per 1,000 kilometers after 200 to 300,000 kilometers. Replacing stuck rings and hardened valve stem seals are subject to replacement. In addition, both units have a timing chain. It tends to stretch after 200 to 300,000 kilometers. In this case, a characteristic rumble appears. Power drops and errors appear in the position of the camshaft and crankshaft. Other typical malfunctions affect the ignition coils, lambda probe, crankshaft, and camshaft position sensor. The valve clearance is adjusted by selecting pushers or shims. Both options were used. After 300,000 kilometers, the starter brushes wear out. With age, the radiator also gives up. Certain problems also affected diesel engines, in particular the 110 horsepower 2.2 DI, YD22DDT, with direct fuel injection of Nissan's own production. The biggest drawback of this engine is the VP44 injection pump, whose resource rarely exceeds 200,000 kilometers. By today's standards, the Japanese diesel lacks dynamics. The 2.2 DCI, YD22DDTI, created in collaboration with Renault. In fact, this is a modernized Nissan engine. The turbo diesel is equipped with a common rail injection system and a variable geometry turbocharger. The power unit has a power of 136 horsepower and shows good performance. However, diesel is more sensitive to fuel quality, which affects the durability of injectors. The increase in power was achieved, including due to the variable geometry turbocharger, which is much more expensive to repair. Connoisseurs of economical driving will love the Renault 1.5 DCI. Its maximum power is 82 horsepower, and it takes 14.5 seconds to sprint to 100. Average fuel consumption is about 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers. A 1.5 liter diesel is sensitive to fuel quality. After 100 to 150,000 kilometers, the likelihood of the need to replace Denso fuel injectors increases. Unfortunately, the manufacturer did not provide for the possibility of a refurbishment. After 100 to 200,000 kilometers, the turn of the turbocharger may also come. In addition, there are cases of turning the liners and failure of the fuel pump. Nevertheless, owners usually praise this engine. As standard, all engines are paired with a 5-speed manual transmission, with the exception of the 136 horsepower 2.2 DCI, which is combined with a 6-speed only. Fans of the machine will find it in versions with gasoline engines with a displacement of 1.8 liters. A manual transmission clutch typically lasts over 200,000 kilometers. Next, the manual transmission paired with the atmospheric 1.5 QG15DE may fail. Bearings and shafts wear out prematurely. The machine is much more enduring and less often sent for repairs. The first serious automatic transmission malfunctions occur after 250 to 300,000 kilometers. It is worth noting that Almera is not too stiff and absorbs bumps well. A non-standard solution was used on the rear axle, the so-called Scott-Russell mechanism. Thanks to the system of levers attached to the torsion beam, the car's behavior at high speed is improved, including during cornering with poor coverage. Rear suspension silent blocks reach up to 300,000 kilometers. Ball bearings and silent blocks of the front axle are less tenacious. Factory ones lived up to 150 to 200,000 kilometers. Analogs go about 50 to 100,000 kilometers. Wheel bearings have a similar weight in service life. The rear ones are changed as an assembly with the hub, and the front ones separately. In the segment of 200 to 300,000 kilometers, it is necessary to update the external and internal CV joints. After 200 to 250,000 kilometers, the steering rack may knock or leak. Attention may also require the lower cross of the steering shaft. In versions with 1.5 DCI, there is a possibility of failure of the electro-hydraulic power steering pump. All body modifications are connected by one big problem: corrosion. Nevertheless, thanks to the efforts of the manufacturer, compared to the previous generation, the defect took on a smaller scale, but it was not possible to completely get rid of the disease. Despite the fact that the body is galvanized, rust affects many of its elements: the rear fenders, sills, underbody, and even the support cups of the front shock absorbers. Corrosion is also merciless to the exhaust system. If you know of other model malfunctions, be sure to write about it.